Now, we've talked about this concept of direct costs and indirect costs. I want to just touch a little bit more on the basics of allowable costs. Allowable costs must meet all these criteria. This is similar. Remember yesterday? I know it feels like it's been a month, but yesterday I talked about procurement, the procurement bear claw, and I said the paw of the bear, you must do all these things in the paw of the bear or the cost could be disallowed. This is very similar. You must do all of these things in the, and it's not really a paw because they don't have an allowable cost bear claw, but you must do all these things in the paw of, let's call it the paw of allowable costs. If you don't do any of these things, potentially costs are disallowed. So let's look at what those things are. Allowable costs must be reasonable and allocable. That means that, I call this the granny rule. You know, if you feel embarrassed to explain it to your grandma, because she might go, you know, you're getting a little big for your britches. That's probably not reasonable. Allocable just means that we have a way to allocate those costs across to the federal government in a reasonable fashion. They can't be limited or excluded by the cost principles, and we'll talk more about this afternoon as we focus on allowable costs. You have to apply your organizational policies consistently, whether you're on a federal activity or a non-federal activity. Again, that concept of consistency and uniformity is pervasive through the entire cost principles, and they have to be adequately documented. The lack of documentation gets a lot of grant recipients in trouble and is one of the reasons why costs get disallowed. Because if you can't prove it, if you can't prove to an auditor where that money went, that it was spent on things that were allowable, they don't go, oh, well, thanks for trying. They just go, okay, we're going to disallow those costs. And I don't want any of you to ever have costs disallowed. So all of these things must be present for costs to be allowable.